Hi, I'm Bob. Welcome to Impact's Tech Tips series. In today's video, we're covering web accessibility and why it's so important to design websites with everybody in mind. Let's get started. Web accessibility is the practice of making websites easily accessible to everyone, including people with disabilities. This encompasses disabilities that affect hearing, sight, physical ability, speech, cognitive function, and more. Web accessibility is important because it makes the internet usable by everybody, providing equal access to millions of pages of information. This is especially important today when so many services are critical to daily life have moved online, like health and safety resources, transit schedules, and ordering necessary goods. The further the internet evolves, the bigger this problem could become. That's why it's crucial to think about it now, so the internet evolves in the way that it includes everybody all the time. Having an accessible website is also important for businesses for a few reasons. One, you need to make sure all users can interact with your website. Having an easily accessible site not only opens it up to everyone, but also helps build your site's word-of-mouth reputation into one that respects people with disabilities. Two, accessible sites are more SEO friendly. Having alt text, intuitive navigation, and strong headers and content make it easier for search engines to crawl your website, giving you the edge on search engine result pages and expanding your audience online. Three, there are situations when web accessibility is required by law. The American with Disabilities Act, or ADA as it's commonly referred, applies to state and local governments and businesses that are open to the public. The ADA prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities by businesses like retail stores, banks, hotels, hospitals, food and drink establishments, and entertainment venues like auditoriums, theaters, and arenas. To avoid discriminating against someone even accidentally, your website must meet ADA's requirements or you risk fines, lawsuits, and reputational harm. Examples of web accessibility and inaccessibility in action include using colors in accessible ways. You need to be careful with how you incorporate color on your site because people with visual impairments or who are colorblind might have a hard time using it. For example, if there's not enough contrast between the text and the background, some people cannot read it. Similarly to color contrast, if your website uses colors to convey information, like a color-coded graphic or using red to show which information in a form is required, that information is not accessible to those who cannot see it. Plus, screen readers, devices used to help those with disabilities to read text on a site, won't read the colors. Additionally, lacking alt text on images, a description of an image that conveys the purpose of it, makes it impossible for people who are blind or use screen readers to understand what it is. Same thing for videos without captions where people with hearing impairments cannot otherwise understand the contents of a video. Accessible forms are another example. Without labels for screen readers, clear instructions, and accessible error indicators, it will be hard for those with disabilities to accurately fill them out. Websites also need to have a keyboard navigation to help those who cannot use a mouse or trackpad. To achieve web accessibility on your site, one of the most common sets of web accessibility standards businesses and people use and reference is the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. These guidelines are broken up into 4 principles of web accessibility using the acronym CORE, which stands for Perceivable, Operable, Understandable, and Robust. Let's break it down. Perceivable means user interface, or UI. Components must be presented in ways a user can perceive. The Bureau of Internet Accessibility says nothing on your interface can be invisible to all users. Alt text, adaptable media, and easily distinguishable colors fall under this principle. The second principle, operable, means that components on the site and within the navigation must all be usable and cannot contain interactions that a user cannot perform. Examples of this are keyboard navigation, providing users plenty of time, and allowing for various input modalities. Understandable means users must be able to easily understand the contents and operation of your user interface. This means using readable text, having your site perform in a predictable way, and including input assistance to help users avoid and correct mistakes. The last principle, robust, says that the content of your site must be robust enough to be interpreted by a large variety of user assistance tools, meaning it must be compatible with current and future technologies. There are a lot of accessibility features for websites to make them easier to use. Some of them have already been mentioned in this video, but to bring it all into one place, here's a quick summary of some design and development best practices to help everybody use your site. Incorporate alt text on images. Make sure your videos have captions and provide transcripts. Make your written content easier to consume using color contrast. Ensure your entire site is navigable by keyboard. Provide enough time to engage with your content. Avoid blinking or flashing content. Use predictable navigation. Make content easily readable. Structure pages logically. Use error pages to provide help. Write clean HTML code that can be transferred. As the internet grows and changes, it's important to keep these web accessibility principles, best practices, and standards in mind so everybody can access and use information and tools you have to offer online. Explore more design tips for your website in our video, How to Pick Colors for a Website. You can also learn more about web design and digital marketing at impactmybiz.com. And for more tech tips, be sure to subscribe below.